Okay guys, first things first, I just want to say a huge thank you to someone called Someone for supporting me and buying me a coffee. Thank you so much, it means a lot. And I also want to say a big thank you to Jake J that bought me 3 coffees and also had a question. I really appreciate your YouTube muscle up tutorial. After watching it, I got my first muscle ups with the green band and nearly got 5 unbroken sets and 5 with it in my next training session. With your outdoor setup and calm personality, your videos are also relaxing to watch. Many tutorials recommend getting a first bodyweight muscle up by bringing your knees to your chest, but I prefer your system of using lighter bands over time until being able to do a proper muscle up without kipping. Until watching your video, I made the mistake of trying to both use a band and raise my knees, but that defeats the purpose of the band. One question, is there a minimum number of pull-ups, for example 10, you think someone should be able to do before starting? Or should they just use multiple bands if necessary? First of all, thank you so much Jake for your kind words, and I will also answer your question. So thank you so much for your question, Jake. And the way I see things, like when people say that you have to do 10 pull-ups before you do a muscle up, or some people also say that if you can do 10 pull-ups, you can actually do a muscle up. Why I think it's important that you can do like 10 pull-ups before you start your muscle up journey is basically just to have prepared joints and muscles for the muscle up journey, because the muscle up is a very taxing movement and it's going to be very taxing on your body to start your muscle up training without being able to do like 10 pull-ups. But I had a muscle up client a few years ago that could do 20 pull-ups but couldn't do a muscle up. So when you're doing pull-ups, you're probably doing them with a wider grip in a slower pace, and you're pulling your elbows to the side and back like this. And you are getting a stronger pull-up, but you are not training your fast twitch muscle fibers. So doing normal pull-ups like this only trains your slow twitch muscle fibers, but the muscle ups is all about being explosive, and therefore you have to train your fast twitch muscle fibers. And that is very hard to do without using resistance bands. So as you said in your comment, working on your explosive strength with resistance bands is, in my view, the easiest and fastest way to work on your fast twitch muscle fibers, doing that resistance band by resistance band. And finally, you would have the explosive strength to get over the bar using only your body weight. And when you're working on your muscle ups and explosive pull-ups, you have a narrower grip and you're pulling with your elbows in front of you. So you're pulling away from the bar and up at the same time when you're having your elbows facing forward, instead of pushing your elbows to the side and back as when you're doing pull-ups. So thank you again Jake for your 3 coffees, and I hope that I answered your question. If not, please feel free to ask me another question in the comment section of this video and I will be happy to help. So I'm back in the city again. In my last video I was on the countryside where I built my own muscle up bar. That is still my all-time favorite bar, but this one is okay. What I like about this place is that it's kind of in the middle of the city, but there's not so much people around here. So in the last video I reached my long-term goal of doing 1 muscle up with 10 kilos. So I'm not really sure what I will be doing today, if I'm gonna try to recreate that workout or if I am going to lower the numbers a little bit. Let's start with the warm-up and it will show itself how my body is feeling and if I have the explosive power to do the same workout as last time. Alright, so I'll begin by warming up with the purple band as usual, doing 2 reps. And that felt good. No real soreness or small aches and pains or stuff like that. So let's continue with the warm-up. Alright, 2 reps with the black band. Okay, so first bodyweight muscle up. I always know that if the first bodyweight muscle up feels good, then I usually have a great workout. If it doesn't feel good, then I have to spend a little bit more time doing single of bodyweight before moving on to weighted. So let's see. Okay guys, 1 more bodyweight muscle up. So guys, if you saw my last video, I told you that I ordered some weights. So they arrived yesterday. So I will try to do a few muscle ups with the weights today. And you know, doing muscle ups with ankle weights or weight plates like this is kind of different. But today I didn't bring my ankle weights, only these weights. So let's see how it feels. And another common question that I get is, what kind of gloves are you using? Come, I'll show you. So these are the gloves that I'm using. And I'm buying them from my local pharmacy. So it's just thin cotton gloves, looks like this. And I basically just use them because I don't want my hands to stick on the bar when I'm transferring from the pull-up into the dip. So even if the bar is a little bit sticky, it doesn't matter when I'm using these gloves because I can just rotate my hands freely. Otherwise it would be really hard sometimes to rotate them, and it's easy to get stuck in the transition like this. So in the beginning, when you're trying to learn the muscle up technique, if your hands are sticking to the bar, it can actually hinder you from getting your chest over the bar. Basically your wrists are hindering you from getting over the bar, as you can see here. But if you can rotate them freely, the hands will rotate freely around the bar as you throw your chest over the bar. So that's why I'm using these gloves. And as I said, you can probably buy them from your local pharmacy. Just ask for cotton gloves. And you usually buy them in a pack of like 10, 20 or 30. I think I can use one pair of gloves for like 10 muscle up workouts. And then they start to break, you know. I hope that helps. Okay guys, so the dip belt itself weighs 1 kilo. And this is a 2 kilo plate, so a total of 3 kilos. So the optimal thing when training with a dip belt is that you want the weight lower down by your feet so you can keep it steady between your feet. So I actually also ordered another kind of dip belt where you can adjust where you want the weight, so to speak. Because if you have it here, it kind of bounces all around. But let's see how it goes when I increase the weight a little bit. Okay guys, so the 5 kilo plate are on and it's a little bit bigger. So I will try to have the weight like this instead of this. Let's see how it goes. So this is 5 kilos plus the dip belt, 6 kilo. Yeah, it felt all right. I just have to adjust the technique a little bit because I'm used to the ankle weights. So yeah, let's continue. Okay guys, so I don't think I'm gonna go up to 10 kilos like last workout because I just want to get used to this new setup. So I want to do one more rep with the same weight, and I might stay here for a while as well, just to, as I said, get used to the technique and get used to the belt. Alright guys, so I added 2 more kilos. What we have is 5 kilos plus 2 kilos plus the 1 kilo dip belt, a total of 8 kilos. And this is going to be the start of the pyramid. So 1 rep with 8 kilos. So this is definitely going to be a little bit of a learning curve for me, but that's okay. Like with all new things, you have to give it time because now there's like one more variable to keep track of. So what I feel that the difference is it kind of takes a little bit of my focus to the weight itself compared to the ankle weights I'm not even thinking about. But because I want this to be my new standard, this is what I'm going to work with and learn from. So this is the second set of the pyramid. I reduced the weight to 6 kilos for 2 reps. 1, 2. Okay guys, so this is the top set, 3 reps. So I reduced it to 4 kilos plus the dip belt, so a total of 5 kilos. And because these weights are so small, it's gonna be kind of hard to keep them in place. I'm gonna do 1 rep, rest on the top for a little bit, just to get the weights in order. And I think I'll do that for all the reps, but let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, my first failed attempt for a long time. So usually when I fail a rep, I rest for like 30-40 seconds and then just finish the set strong. Okay guys, the 4th set in the muscle up, 2 reps. So I kept the weight from the last set, so 5 kilos. So trying to get used to the dip belt and the hanging weights. 1. 2. Last set of the pyramid. I'm gonna try to finish strong. So I added 1 kilo from the last rep, so a total of 5. Plus the dip belt, 6 kilos. And I did notice one thing from the last set, that with this kind of setup, it's important for me to drive my chest forward even more aggressively compared to when I'm using ankle weights for some reason. For an example, when I'm using ankle weights, I don't really think about driving my chest over the bar. it just happens. But when I'm using the weights in a hanging position like this, for some reason I find it's easier to get stuck here before pushing up into the dip. So the technique change that I'm doing is when I reach this point, I'm pushing my chest more aggressively over the bar. So that's what I learned so far, and I will definitely learn even more things when training my muscle ups like this in the future. All right, so last rep, last set, driving my chest forward more aggressively. So Devin's Calisthenics said, "Great job with the 10 kilo mic. I appreciate your gradual approach as well, because I gave myself golfer's elbow, rushing with weights about a year ago. The ego is often 10 steps ahead of the body." Yeah, I mean, that is so true. And I have injured myself so many times because of this as well, like wanting to do too much too soon. So like Devin says, that's why I'm like gradually increasing the weights. And as you saw in my training in this video, I actually had to reduce the weights to relearn the technique a little bit with the dip belt and the hanging weights and stuff. So I think it's important to try at least to be mature in one's training, just to avoid any unnecessary injuries and to progress faster, basically, because injuries are the biggest reason why we give up on our goals and why it can take so long to reach our goal. So yeah, that's so true. And he also asks, so are you going to continue pushing the weighted muscle up past 10 kilos, or do you want to fill out that pyramid with all easy effort 10 kilo reps? So right now I think I have a new goal, because with the dip belt setup I feel that I have to work myself up to 10 kilos again. But I don't think I have an end goal. So if a certain weight starts to feel easy, I will gradually increase that weight. So if the one rep of 10 kilo feels a little bit too easy, I will just try an 11 kilo and just, do small steps and feel how my body is for that particular workout, because that can also change. So it's also important for me not to get stuck in certain numbers, because one workout I can be really strong and the next workout my body might not feel 100% recovered. And in that moment it's so important to take a few steps back, reduce the weights and look at it like a deload almost. I think that will give me the best results in the long run. And if you want to see my first 10 kilo muscle up, I would recommend watching this video right here.